You guys, my dear friend, and one of my go-tos when it has to do with the topic of money and all of the clusterfuck of emotions, or on the flip side of that, the peace, the love, the pleasure, the joy of getting to experience money is with me today. Kate Northrup. We had her on last year. It's been a little bit since we've been able to talk, but Kate has become a dear friend. I made her become obsessed with me and become one of my best friends when she lived in Miami, and then she moved to Nashville. So, can you give us a little update? How's Nashville?
Oh, I am so happy here. I am so happy here. I
Oh.
can't believe first of all, that I live in Tennessee. Like, how did that happen? We have, just for context, we have no reason to live here other than a feeling. We've no family here, no roots, no reason that we moved other than it was like it felt right. And God really what guided us because everything has been just expanding and it's been so easy. Everything's been
Mm.
really easy living here. And I had, Mike and I and the girls had a solid 2018 to 2015 of and in some ways 2015 to 2025 were just like hard years. So it's been
Mhm.
really nice to have some flow and ease after a decade of hard.
You just sound delicious. You can hear the pleasure and, how relaxed your nervous system is and
Yeah.
how settled you guys are.
Yeah.
It's so good. I'm
Thanks.
obsessed with tone right now, with like
I
people's
know.
tone of voice. I'm really
Isn't it
obsessed with it.
fascinating? Did you listen to
Yeah.
my episode with Tracy? Oh my gosh. The frick is her last name? I'm gonna send it to you later. I know we're on a
Yeah.
podcast interview, but
They want to know too.
um it's her what is my brain right now? It's gonna come to me. Anyway,
Yeah.
she's incredible. And the episode title on Plenty is Your Voice is Repelling Sales.
It's so good. I
Uh-huh. And she
you and I
gave me a
haven't.
live, essentially like voice reading on the episode. And it was game
Yes.
changing. You're gonna love it.
Okay, you've told me about this and I forgot to go listen to
Mhm.
it, and I actually totally forgot about that, or maybe I don't know, it doesn't matter. The
I
chain of
wouldn't usually do this, but I'm actually just gonna look up her name right now because it just feels wrong
it's
that
gonna drive you crazy.
yeah, it is. And I am aware that we're in an interview, but
It's fine. Well, I don't remember if I told you this or not about the research that I'm working on, because Kate and I are both
Tracy
writing.
Goodwin.
Tracy Goodwin.
Tracy
Okay.
Goodwin.
We're
Okay.
going to love her. So I have been doing so much research on tone because, as you know, I'm writing my book. And the biggest thing that I have found in my personal relationship, but then I'm noticing even in running my business, not even having to do with sales. Like sales is one thing. You can get away with like tone being omitted from your like sales process if you wanted to, but from like people being willing to like rise and follow you, like it really
Mm.
does compel a level of leadership with your team, but also having your needs met in your personal relationship. That is where my brain exploded when I realized,
Wow.
like, why is my man not helping me? Why do I feel so alone? Keith and I went through just a really tough time last summer. It was like our first really tough challenge as a couple. And he kept saying, like, can't you say that to me in a different tone? And I'm like, this is the best tone I've got right now, buddy.
It's
But I
so
had this
real.
like man who was so obsessed with me, doting over me. And then all of a sudden he's just like too busy to can't be found anywhere in my life. And I'm
What
like, what? What happened?
what was going on for you energetically during that time that changed the tone of your voice?
So of course, everybody knows about like big triggers and trauma and the stuff that we've done ayahuasca around and like, the stuff that we know about, right? What I didn't realize happened after we moved in together was he kind of like ignited my childhood blueprint of how I receive love in a really close dynamic of living with people. And so I started over functioning and I was just exhausting myself. And there would be tiny little times where he would like ask me something. And there was this day that he was asking me, like, hey, can you like wash your coffee cup like right when you're done with it and just put it into the drying rack? Like the age old argument, it's one or the other. And I just like all of a sudden I started feeling like I was gonna like lurch at him, like, what the fuck? Like, don't you see
Yeah.
me? Don't you see how like
Yeah.
you're gonna get on me about a coffee cup? And I started hearing the words, shut up and correct your spine. Like, don't say a word, correct your spine. And I noticed that like my body started like caving in and that
Mhm.
I was like gripping and I was like, I'm triggered. And I started noticing it at the most micro level of like, I would get a text all of a sudden I would just feel mildly resentful, but not like a paper cut of resent, not like I'm bleeding out, got to run to the surgeon type of vibe. And I was like, wait, what are these tiny little flinches where all of a sudden I'm just like, I'm braced, or all of a sudden I feel a little bit smaller? Like I started kind of shrinking myself around
Mhm.
him. And I was like, and then I kept rehearsing the dialogue. The dialogue would come next. It was like a physical shift first. And then the dialogue would be like, I'm not asking him for much. I'm not,
Mhm.
I'm not asking for much. And after a while, I was like, hold on. When the fuck did I become the woman who doesn't need much? How did
Yes.
I become her?
Right?
This isn't who I am. And I was like,
Not at
notice.
all.
So I was like, oh, we have like these big triggers and then we have the micro triggers, the
Mhm.
tiny little paper cuts. And that's what's ruining our life. It's like the death by 1,000 paper cuts, and then you're bleeding out, and the relationship is dead, the business is dead. You got to fire this client or this because it's all the self abandoning, it's all the conflict. But what was happening with him was, even though I wasn't aware I was having the most micro of triggers,
Yeah.
he heard it in the tone of my voice
Yes.
and he heard the stressors. Okay, anyways, let's talk about
Yes.
money and how this
No,
relates to
but
money because
it's actually all the same thing, and I watched this video the other day, which literally blew my mind because it was actually about fascia and posture in the body and the way our body needs alignment for the correct electrical circuitry. And
yes,
Andrea, I know you saw me do my, introduction of or sort of like reveal of this new body of work that I've been I mean, it has been consuming me in the best way. Like it has
yeah,
just taken over every nook and cranny of my life. I can't not see it anywhere,
yeah,
if that makes sense. And
it
you
does.
saw me do a very brief snippet of it at our friend Leanne Mosley's Soft Girl Millions event. And so then I'm on Instagram the other day, and this body guy, he's like some sort of body expert doctor man, is going so deep about our body as bioelectrical
Right.
fields. Like we are, every single person's body is a bioelectrical field, biomagnetic. But he was talking about it in the exact same words that I had used around power, but he was talking about it physiologically. And he brought in the piece around fascia and posture and how
Hmm.
our literal spinal alignment and movement or lack of movement is actually necessary. So I talk a lot about energetic alignment, but
Yeah.
our bodies need literal alignment as well in order to conduct electricity because our nervous systems are electrical. They are our body's electrical. If our body was a house, our nervous system is the electrical wiring. And we can rewire it so that the lights turn on the way we want them to. It's just expensive. And so, I mean, we'll talk about a whole thing there, but I just love your connection around the spine because
Yeah.
this piece around literal spinal alignment and our posture has
Yeah.
everything to do with our ability to be antenna, literally antenna receiving
Yes.
power and light.
Okay. So here's just what, welcome to Kate and I catching up. But they're going to love this. Well, we promise we'll take you somewhere. Like
Yeah.
we're going to get somewhere
Oh, no, we're
important by
already
the end
on
of
our
the,
way.
yeah, we're on our way. Okay. So because I started noticing that in my personal romantic relationship, what I did notice is when the spine collapses, we're in our head and we've lost our heart, right? And so
Yeah.
you are super well aware of how the electrical system powers the heart and then how the heart expands beyond the body, how the heart influences other people,
Yeah.
entrainment, all the things. And so I've just been playing around with like, um, if I'm in a trigger, no matter the smallest trigger, I know I've gone back into my head, I've left my heart and I can
Right.
feel it because my spine is subtly curved. It is so tiny.
Mhm.
That is exactly how you know if you're in a micro trigger or a macro trigger. It doesn't matter. Like your spine will have this like automatic curvature that I had never noticed in my entire life. And of course, what happens when we're in trauma? All of a sudden, like everything is repelled from us. Why? Because, and you'll be able to actually even nerd out a little bit more on this, but like we can feel each other's stress responses.
Yes.
And so when the heart's sending that erratic stress response, of course, Keith was like nowhere to be found.
Totally.
Women hate me telling them this.
I
They
know.
hate it. They're like, can't he just like man up? And I'm like, or
Yes. But only
you
when we have a field that is inviting that.
And because our man isn't here to save us, our man is here to remind us we're sovereign, right?
Mhm.
And so Keith, like leaving the room or Keith being unavailable to help and support me when I've left my heart is like him calling me back to sovereign. I do believe that there's like a
Mhm.
beautiful, like spiritual lesson in this for us if we want it, if we're open and
Yeah.
available for that. But I have this my mantra around this is everything you want wants you back, but only if you can be found. And in order to be found, all of you has to be there. You're
Yes.
not there.
Yes.
Like the world is simply just reflecting back to you. You're not there. Just get back here.
Yeah.
You're in the old event. You're in the
Yeah.
future fear. Get back here. Everything you
Yeah.
want wants you back.
Yes. I love that so much, and that obviously completely applies to money.
Right.
So, one of the things that I've noticed with women around money, especially like the the crew in the little corner of the internet that you and I hang out in, which apparently is very niche, it turns out.
Not to us.
But they are the people listening right now. And there's so much conversation around being in the feminine, which
Mhm.
obviously I love. Like I'm so here. I literally wrote a book called Do Less. Like I'm very here for receptivity and feminine magnetism.
Yeah.
And I was in Egypt this fall and I had this mind blowing experience where it was one of those very like, I don't know if you've seen A Beautiful Mind, but, I mean, I understand that that movie is partially about mental illness, but it's also about, like, being able to draw lines and connections between things that the rest of the world doesn't see as connected,
Right.
and so I had this experience during a ceremony, a Blue Lotus ceremony on the roof of our boat on the Nile at sunset as the call to prayer was being echoed across both banks of the Nile. We did it was like a whole thing, so I won't get into all the steps, but it culminated in connecting with our future self. And our I had connected with my future self and she's like really gorgeous. She's kind of like Jane Fonda, but more round because I'm more round. And like she was like 85, hot, stunning woman. And I had asked her,
Yes.
picture me, but Jane Fonda
I can.
and 85.
I'm with
So
you.
I had asked her what I needed to know, what she wanted to tell me about my prayer for the world, for my vision for the world. And I had received a new prayer for my vision for the world several days earlier at the gates of the temple of Isis, which is called the Philae Temple. And Isis is about like life force and erotic energy. And I mean, there's a lot there, but I had received at this 5:30 a.m. sunrise ceremony, it just downloaded that my contribution for the world is, or my prayer is that I want to be part of birthing an economic system where everyone can thrive, where everyone can experience plenty.
Oh,
I know, right? And I had,
I feel that
here
everywhere.
we are in our businesses, right? And it's like sales and P&Ls and conversion rates and getting our customers results and all of that, which I love, 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 love. I'm working on a book, all of these things that we do. But it took the elevator on my vision for my contribution up about like 300,000 floors.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, oh, how many students can I support in Relax Money? It was like, how can I contribute to birthing a brand new economic system that actually works for everyone? So
Yeah.
that was so exciting and enlivening. And when we have a big vision, it makes it a lot easier to step into it because it widens the aperture so much that it actually increases our chances of achieving it somehow. Um, we could talk about that. But anyway, so there I am. It's like 6 days later. I'm with my future self. And I said, what do I need to know about how I can step into this vision, how I can make the biggest contribution possible for this prayer for the world? And she said, she literally said, you need to flirt more and you need to be in rooms with men and you need to
Yes.
have more men in your rooms, meaning my business rooms, not my like bedroom. I am,
To each their own.
to each their own. Right at this point, am a one man woman. Um, so I thought that's so interesting because I have for decades served primarily women. Every now and again, we have have had a man jump in, which I love.
Mhm.
But it has always been very like woman facing, women forward. I don't I don't think I'm changing my entire business model, though increasingly more and more men are coming, which I'm super into. But here's what I got, Andrea. That whole, and I'm happy to explain like the power source method and how it works. But ultimately, what I realized is my future self was delivering to me a piece of wisdom around the way we create usable power in our lives and in our bodies, not only as individuals, but in the ecosystem of all of the parts and the people and the spaces that we touch. So it's not about, oh, I just want to be in my feminine all the time, right?
Mhm.
Which actually, if we're only in our feminine, things get really floppy and
Yeah.
diffuse. And you can't get usable power if you only have one spectrum of the polarity activated. And so what I received in Egypt was, oh, we need to bring the healthy masculine online in order to create the usable power that comes from the activation and the beautiful healthy tension between the polarity of the feminine and of the masculine. The reason I bring this up is because um I want us all to be able to be in our receptivity, to be able to be supported, to be able to lean back, soft girl millions, all of that. And the huge piece that I've seen missing in most of my clients' lives and why they come in is actually infrastructure.
Yeah.
And the infrastructure, the container, the healthy systems that are elegant and relatively easy to maintain, those are what holds us. So we can stop trying to hold more. We can
Mhm.
actually let our systems hold us. And that is that healthy masculine container. And so it's not about needing to be masculine, but it is about where in my ecosystem is the structure and containment so that we can be as much in our flow as we desire. And I'm pretty sure that's what my future self was telling me when I was in Egypt.
That is so powerful. And I keep thinking about like the dynamics, there's such a big conversation around the masculine and the feminine now, especially in business with entrepreneurs, which also I love. And also, I think we didn't go deep enough with that one. I think it's like one layer above where we need to be. And what women are really trying to say is like, I'm tired of being tired.
Correct.
right? And when are we the most tired? When we're in our head,
Yeah.
not our heart.
Yeah.
Like our heart has like that greatest power source. So talk to us about the power source.
Yeah. Well, I I don't even remember what occurred to me why I decided to start this research rabbit hole, but I was like, I
It
wonder,
started you.
it started me. It did. I was like, I wonder what the polarity of the masculine and the feminine have to do with our physical bodies and our nervous system and our bodies as batteries. Like, I basically was like, I have a feeling that the body is a battery, but I don't know any of the mechanics or the scientific or the biology around that or the physics. So I started researching. And what was so cool is in my research, I found that essentially our body is, in fact, a battery. Our body is able to generate power. And so many of us are seeking power through more money, through our relationship, through wanting to be on certain stages or get invited to sit at certain tables or a certain book deal or whatever. We're like seeking power out there. But actually, when we use what I'm now calling the power source method, we become power generators. And it's not about needing to actually do anything, which is really cool. Like, it's not when I say, oh, your body is a power plant, like that make you feel tired. So I just want to say it's actually not that. It's really just about plugging back into the outlet that's been there the whole time that you're like, your plug has just gotten a little, either it's completely out or it's dangling. You know how a light flickers when the power cord, like in a historical home, the it's like not tight enough and the thingy starts to flicker. That's most women entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Their power cord is dangling slightly out of the socket. So we can get it all the way back in there. And so what I learned is that in a battery and also in the body, we have these polarities of energy. And the polarities are the voltage and the current. And you need both in order for there to be usable power. The voltage is the potential for power. So if you had a waterfall, the voltage would be like how high the waterfall is, because that's the potential for the speed of the water going down, because it's the height, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So your voltage is really actually your masculine energy. It's the container. Your current is more your feminine energy. Your current is, oh, the amount of actual water that goes over the waterfall. So your current plus your voltage create usable power. And what was really cool is as I was going down this rabbit hole, I was like, it said, the measure of usable power is watts. And I was like, that's so cool because I am a Watts. I married a man named Watts and we are the Watts together. My business name is Northrup, but my legal last name is Watts. And I was like, wait, I literally like I was put on the planet in this particular relationship because we are also business partners to literally embody this concept. And Mike and I
Yes.
are, he's a Virgo, and I am an Aries, and not to get too much into astrology, but like who he is in the world is structured containment.
Yeah.
And who I am in the world is like a lot of spark and a lot of vision and a lot of creative energy. And together we actually do create usable power. We are Watts. And so in each of us, we have that ability to increase our voltage, open our current, and have what's called a coherent conductor so that we can close the circuit and get usable power. And when we do that, we actually begin to be able to transmit our field or entrain the world around us. What I
Mm.
notice with many women entrepreneurs who are not getting the traction that they want around their income, whether it's straight up like I'm not making as many sales as I want, or my revenue's not there, or the profit margins aren't great, or all the money coming in is great, I just have no idea where it goes. there's like a lot of different moments where this can happen, where the system is leaky. And often it is because the voltage is too weak and there's too much current. And that's when we are having an open feminine and we're like, I just want to receive. I just want to be held. I just want to be in my flow. I just want to, use all inspiration, whatever. But without the container for our actual systems with our money, you don't get traction. You don't get usable financial power, essentially. But it's actually not hard to install architecture to increase your voltage, not only just in your body, but also just in, again, the whole ecosystem, in your relationships, in the way your business is set up, in your dynamics with your team, in your dynamics with your clients. So it's not about like, oh, I need to do this all inside myself. It's about I call it the hidden money ecosystem. What's the hidden money ecosystem in your life? And let's start there. And then when we get that really healthy, the results of an upgraded financial life externally with visible results, with like the nicer house or the higher cash months or the trips or the, great investments, all that stuff, like that is a byproduct of tending to your hidden money ecosystem. That was a lot I just said there.
I this is why I love bringing you on, because you always have the most fascinating ways of saying things. Like Kate is like my favorite person to nerd out with. I'm like, I was like checking our time. I'm like, making sure. I go into a portal with you. I have no
Oh,
idea where I am
wow.
or what time it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Here we are. We're in.
We're in. What I also hear though is like what women I feel like are begging for is permission to tend to the internal
Mm,
ecosystem first. But
yes.
their fear is that if I do that, if I actually tend to this and I put my time, attention, money, even investment here, then something bad will happen here.
Yeah. But it's
And
completely the opposite. So that's just patriarchal brainwashing. Patriarchal brainwashing
yes.
says that only that which you can see, measure, test, touch, only the visible matters. Status markers, net worth, income markers, all like achievements, how you look matters, but not how you feel.
Yeah.
But what we know from science is that how we feel creates our life.
Yeah.
I know, and so many people who have all the markers of all the visible things that we are all taught are going to solve all our problems. And that once we get there, then everything will be fine. I'm not saying don't get those things. Those things are wonderful. I just went under contract last night for a house that's like beyond anything I ever could have imagined. But here's what's really important about this. I am not under the illusion that when I move into that house, it will make me able to feel any certain way that I don't already have access to feeling today.
Mm.
And the reason I am able to purchase that house is because since 2021, I have trained and invested in my interior ability to essentially on command, but not that fast, be able to experience what I want to experience no matter what. And so the external world, the reason it's so juicy here in Tennessee for me is because the external world around me has entrained to my internal state. So it's
Mm.
not about like, oh, money doesn't buy you happiness. You don't need the fancy car, whatever. Get that car.
Yeah.
Do it, like, absolutely, but only when sourced from knowing that you are whatever you said, Andrea, you're all here. What was it
Yeah.
that you said?
Everything you want wants you back, but only if it can find you. And in order to be found, all of you has to be here.
Exactly. That.
I'm going to find a way to
All of
shorten
you
that.
has. What did you say?
I'm going to find a way to shorten that.
Well, but it's great. And regardless, it's great. And so I don't actually remember the question. Was there a
The question was, she's like, I actually have been like craving the permission to tend
Yes.
to my
Oh, yes.
internal world,
Oh, right,
but
and the brainwashing, but being afraid that if I tend to the internal, that everything external will fall apart or fail.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, it is one of those things, so I wanna tell a quick story. I may have told this last year, so I will make it quick, but I'm assuming you have new listeners.
tons, yeah.
So, um, 2021, my husband got incredibly sick for the second time with something that was not easily diagnosable. He just lost 40 pounds in 1 month. Um, his skin was raw and falling off over and over. It was absolutely, literally horrifying. It was like something out of a horror movie. And it came back with a vengeance. At the same time, we had moved to Miami somewhat under duress. My mom was getting publicly canceled, and, and we were away from family. So we had, we didn't really have a support structure. And so I also was in a position of needing to make money for the family because my business partner and husband was really needing to step out of life.
Mhm.
And I felt, oh, and then also we were paying for a new life in Miami and our life we had had before in Maine at the same time because we had moved super last minute. So it was so stressful and I felt the heaviness was so insane. And I went into the patterns that have been like absolutely served me so well in my life, which is I went into efforting and creation energy. I was like, cool, I'll launch this new program and then I'll do this song and dance and I'll do this sales campaign and I'll do this. Like, and I just like felt like if I can just write an original musical for every single client and tap dance and like star in it and do the whole, everything's going to be okay. And so
Yeah.
I went full on performance under pressure. And that was my way up until 2021, straight A student, Ivy League school, like graduated magna cum laude, started a business when I was 14. I mean, just like perform, 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 right? But then I had this amazing coach. She's still my coach, Ann Davin. And she said, because she could tell I was at the end of my rope. I also had a 2.5-year-old and a 5-year-old. So it was like also, mothering little ones. There were, and I'm just like, even talking about it, I'm like, fuck, that was really hard.
Oh.
So Anne helped me set up this experiment. And she said, okay, what's the amount of money that you'd feel okay going in the hole or like going into your savings? And so I had an amount in my head. It was like a low 6-figure amount that I knew if push came to shove and I needed to like pull something out of the hat, I could throw together a promotion and make, low 6 figures. So I was like, okay, I can do that. And she said, okay, great. So for 90 days, just 90 days, just 3 months, not even, what if you said, I am only going to deliver what I've already promised and for my customers, nothing new, no new, because my addiction had been creation and new
Mhm.
things all the time. And then the rest of the time, you are going to learn to sit with yourself and your own discomfort. And so that's what I did for 90 days. And it was deeply uncomfortable. I cried so much. I screamed in the closet so much. I mean, and then also during that time, my husband also fell off a bike and broke his knee. So on top of everything, he also couldn't walk. And
Mike.
I know, poor guy. And so what happened blew my mind because the programming was if I go for everything external, then I will feel okay inside. But instead, just for 90 days, I flipped it and I said either 90 days is going to come and go, or we will have gone in the hole financially this particular amount. So those are my two signs that the experiment is over. What ended up happening though, which was so cool, is we surpassed all of our financial goals. We didn't go into the hole at all. I did not need to tap into savings. And I finally learned to sit with the discomfort within myself as opposed to diffusing all of my energy into performing in the external world. And now I had evidence that I could hit my financial goals without all this manufactured stress and pressure. And so
Right.
all that financial support came from, yes, of course, I was doing things in my business. I had a membership. I was, but that's it. Nothing new. And it worked out, and that changed me.
Wow.
And that's what I teach. And that became relaxed money.
Okay. So we have an amazing this if you guys participated last year, you're going to want to sign up again. But we have an amazing, amazing free experience where if women want to go so much deeper, and it's called Good with Money. And like I said, we did this last year. If women are like, you know what, I really want to change the story. Like, what is
Yeah.
it that people should expect this year for Good with Money? What do we need to know?
So, first of all, you're going to identify the state that your hidden money ecosystem is in.
Mhm.
So all of us have this hidden money ecosystem. It's made of two parts. One is the energy. So the energy includes your nervous system, what's going on in your body, your emotions. So the stuff you really can't see, but it impacts everything. And then the other half of it is the engineering. Like, what actually are your cash flow stewardship systems? What's your auto allocation? Like, how are you investing your money? What's happening that the world doesn't see but that is happening behind the scenes in your financial life practically? So it's both the energetics and the engineering. And we'll assess what's the state of your hidden money ecosystem. And then I'm creating, and I'm so excited about this, I'm creating a special tool that you can only access during Good with Money, where you will be able to generate a custom 90-day plan for you and your money. So you'll walk away with, it's not just like a fill in the blank. Like, this will be a custom plan for you based on your inputs and my framework. And then you'll walk away with a plan to actually tend to and plug the leaks in your hidden money ecosystem. And what happens when you do that is, as a result, your external life begins to shift and you have all this usable power
Mm.
that was previously leaking out. You have all this extra usable power to apply to however it is that you want to tend to your financial life, whatever makes sense for you, whether it's an investing conversation, whether it's a sales and revenue conversation, whether it's a profit conversation. Um, all of those things get upgraded. And so Good with Money walks you through that process over a 3-part workshop.
So if somebody is struggling with like avoidance patterns, shame cycles, the story of I don't know what to do, I'm not good with money, um, w- maybe possibly waiting for their partner to come save them. That was Andrea circa 2021. Till she got divorced and she had no choice but to actually solve her own problem, save her fucking self. So
Yes.
somebody has been going through those, you would say like Good with Money is going to seal some leaks, change some stories, and walk away already in motion
Yes.
with the different pattern started.
Yes. And one of
Come
the
on.
best parts about the experience is that we begin by throwing out the garbage. Most of us are carrying around so much garbage from cultural programming, false
Yeah.
beliefs, inheritance of different ways and patterning, conditioning, all of that stuff. And we don't know that we are. We just don't even know that how much we are being held back by the garbage in our systems. So the cool thing is, if you get nothing else, you're going to walk away um, spacious
Mm.
so that you have a clean slate to install only what you consciously want to carry forward.
Yeah. And I see her feeling just like that power source on
Mhm.
and like viscerally feeling that and
And
that
that's what we
satisfaction.
my way of working is body first, bank account second, or
Yeah.
body first, business second. And
Yeah.
so the amazing thing is our bodies were designed with their own technology that most of just us were just never taught because there's so much conditioning around our bodies being shameful or not spiritual or dirty or a meat suit or whatever. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You're missing the most beautiful, miraculous technology. So when you know how to
Yes.
work with what you already have, like you came pre-installed with these programs, you were just never taught how to use them. So during Good with Money, I'll teach you how to use the programs in your body to plug back into source so that your financial life is sourced from source, not seeking your power through every external thing where you're never going to find it.
Yeah. I keep hearing the one that I heard most of my life, which is we're our own worst enemy.
Mhm.
That one is like I feel like if we actually knew how to use the tool that we've been given, the body, none of us would feel that way. We'd be like,
No,
"Wow, this is really cool. Like, I have a drug
it's
factory right here in the middle of my
amazing.
chest."
Yeah. It is amazing what our bodies are capable of
Yeah.
without any need for a substance, a device, anything.
Oh, yeah.
You came preloaded.
Yes. Okay, you guys, check the, description below. We're gonna link everything, so if you guys wanna participate, again, it is it 3 days this year?
It's 3 days this week. This
Three
not this week, this year. Hi, hello. 3 days this year.
And the dates are April I
April
should
9th, April 14th, and April 16th. And if you cannot attend live, we do make those replays available. They're limited time replays, so you wanna make the time for it, but you don't have to come come live because we give bonuses and there's something about, like, the entrainment with the field of people being there live, but don't let not being able to be there live be the reason you don't sign up.
if you woke up January 1st and you're like, "I am absolutely not going backwards, I'm not gonna do that again with my money, I'm not gonna feel that again with my money," get it on your calendar and change your schedule if you need to.
Love that. Yes.
Absolutely. This is one of those things like being on live, there's absolutely nothing like it. Okay. So we'll link all the dates, all the ways for you to sign up below. Grab two friends. Do this. I'm like huge on, I'm actually doing a 30-day sales challenge right
I
now
saw
where I'm
you
just like
post about it. Yeah.
challenging myself to sell every day for 30 days. It's
Yeah.
been a minute since I've done that. But what I've done is I've gone and I'm like, who's doing this with me? I'm like, I need to do this with a couple of friends where we're just like, we're locked in together in a
So good.
small, like private text message, small group thing. And it's absolutely the best. It really changes your total experience and like your level of commitment and devotion to, I loved what you said earlier, like that higher frame, that like bigger vision for life. The bigger the vision gets, actually, the easier the day to day gets because you think of
Yes.
yourself differently. Your identity changes immediately when the vision changes. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I just have to think about it this way. And
Yeah.
you're so good at shifting someone's like the way that somebody even thinks about who they are. So if you are like ready for that story to change, practically instantaneously in a matter of just a few days in April, you guys are going to want to hang out with Kate. I will be hanging out with Kate. We'll be there together. We will be doing good with money together. So grab that link below, get yourself signed up, and we will see you there in April. Kate, where can people find you on the interwebs if they want to go follow you now?
At Kate Northrup on Instagram is a great place, and then katenorthrup.com. But
Amazing.
just
We
come to
love
Good
you.
with Money. That's the best place.
Yes, yes. Amazing. Thank you, Kate, so much. We love you. We adore you. And we will see you in April.
Love you.